Good morning, dear students and concerned teachers. I am Smita Patel from TPS High School, Banpali. Welcome you all to this live virtual class from our Sundargarh district. Dear students, in this chapter, The Portrait of the Lady, Kushwant Singh, our writer, our author, try to convey a beautiful message that our grandparents' life revolves around us. Day and night, they think about our betterment, our achievement, our success, and our goodness. To try to give them time as much as possible. They need support, they need care, they need some affection from us. And most importantly, they need our time. They need our time to share their thought with us, to say something about their story. So dear students, all of us once in our life, we will enter to that stage of life where we also need some affection from our grandchildren. So keep it that in mind and try to give time as much as possible to your grandparents. So let's go to the smart board and know more about our Kushwant Singh's story, The Portrait of the Lady. Dear students, in part 1 of this chapter, we have learned so many things. We will recall that one once again. See, here we can see a old lady, and she is the grandmother of our writer Kushwant Singh. She used to hobble all around the house with white spotless sari, and her one hand is on her waist to balance her stool. That we know. Then here you can see when we want to know about our Kushwant Singh, our writer's grandfather. His portrait hung above the mantelpiece of the drawing room, and when Kushwant Singh described his grandfather as he was wearing a big turban on his head, as you can see, and also he used to wear loose-fitting clothes and white beard that covered the best part of his chest, as you can see on this picture. Next, our author's parents, they left our Kushwant Singh with his grandmother, and they went to where? They went to city. Okay, so they became good friends. Who became good friends? Grandmother and our writer Kushwant Singh. Okay, so they became good friends, and our grandmother used to wake him up early in the morning, and also he used to take care of all his things, like to give him to fetch all the belongings which he used to take to his school. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମର କଣ ଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଡପ୍ୟାରେଣ୍ଟ ଆମର parents कार parents ना खुशवंत सिंह कर parents तांको बापा माँ तांको तांको grandmother सहित छाड़ी देले एवं कुआड़े को गले सिटी को गले सेई समय रे हमरो खुशवंत सिंह को के तांको पाठ पढ़ाठू धरिकी तांकर सबु काम सबु खाइबा देबाठू होई सकाळू स्कूल पाई रेडी करिबा ठू आरंभ करी समस्त काम के करथिले तांकर ग्रैंडमदर करूथिले सेई समय रे she used to fetch all the belongings. What are the belongings? Slate and also then ink pot and reed pen. এই ସବୁ belongings को से ready कर दूसले का पाई आम author पाई, and after taking all these things they used to go to the school, and before going to school our grandmother used to give him stale chapatis with little sugar spread on it. Nahi, tanku chapati madhya khaiba ku doutile nahi. And some of the chapatis used to take for whom? For village dogs. Se chapati kiछि kaha pai nei ki jautile? Village dogs mananko pai madhya nei ki jautile. All these are about part 1 of the story. Eta thila amaro part 1 bisare. Now we will know about part 2 of the story. Part 2 रे हमें कौन देखिले? Part 2 रे हमें देखिबा को पाइले कौन describe कराई छी? They used to go to school with where one priest used to teach them what? Morning prayer and all the alphabets. At that time, grandmother used to sit inside the temple and she used to read what? Scriptures. जो समय रे आमर priest थारे कौन आमर writer कौन पढ़ुले जेतेबेले से morning prayer एवं आमर alphabet पढ़ुले से समय रे तांको grandmother से temple भितरे कौन पढ़ुले ना scripture सबु से पढ़ुले नहीं से समय रे तापरे आमे देखबा को पहले they while coming back from the temple they used to give food to dogs also. And after some days, their parents, whose parents? Our author's parents, they came and they took our Kushwanti and her grandmother and his grandmother to where? To the city. से माने पुणी तांकु नेगरी गले कोठी को सिटी को नेगरी चली गले काहे कि ना से माने प्रथमे सेटल होवा पय जाइतले जेतेबेले से माने सेटल हेई गले सिटी रे सेही समय रे पुणी से आम काकू खुशवंत सिंह एवं तांको ग्रैंडमदर को सिटी को नेगरी चली गले नहीं दे बट हियर द पीरियड ऑफ कोन आसिला तांको भितरे सेपरेशन हियर पीरियड ऑफ सेपरेशन केम बिटवीन whom? Between grandmother and Kushwant Singh. How? Because here they used to live in the same room. ସେମାନେ same room ରେ ରହୁଥିଲେ. But they have no time to spend time with each other. ତାଙ୍କ ମଧ୍ୟରେ କଣ ସମୟ ନଥିଲା କି ସେମାନେ ପରସ୍ପର ଟାଇମ ସ୍ପେଣ୍ଡ କରିବେ. କାହିଁକି ନା ଏଠାରେ ଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଡମଦର ତାଙ୍କୁ ସ୍କୁଲ କୁ ଛାଡିବାକୁ ଯାଉନଥିଲେ. କାହିଁକି एठारे आमर आसुला कौन सिटी लाइफ रे डिफरेंट सेठारे आसुला आमर स्कूल बस सो दे यूज्ड टू गो टू द स्कूल आवर ऑथर्स यूज्ड टू गो टू स्कूल विथ स्कूल बस नेक्स्ट जेतु सेठारे तांकर कॉमन टॉपिक मध्य नथिला बिकॉज आवर व्हेन ग्रैंडमदर यूज्ड टू आस्क अबाउट व्हाट आर द थिंग्स दे यूज्ड टू लर्न इन द स्कूल दैट टाइम खुशवंत सिंह described that he used to learn what Archimedes principle, then Newton's law, and also they used to learn music lessons and many things. But this there is a difference between this city life and village. According to grandmother, she thought that this type of things that no need to learn in life. So there were no common topics to talk about. So gradually their separation came, and our grandmother she felt lonely. So से जेतेबेले lonely feel कले से समय रे से कोन तांको टाइम से स्पिनिंग व्हील तापरे आउ कोन तांकर बर्ड्स पेरोस मानकू से एठारे तो स्ट्रीट डॉग नांदी एठारे से हमर कोटियाड रे कोन कले तांको घर अगणा रे आसुतुबा घर चटिया नहीं पेरोस मानकू कोन खाइबा को देले आ जोटा कि से मानक सबुठू मोस्ट ब्यूटीफुल टाइम थिला नहीं तांकर जो दिन भरे दिन रे जो सब काम करथिले सबुठारो तांकर फेवरेट टाइम स्पेंडिंग थिला कहले कोटा ना जे से स्पेरोस मानकू जो खाइबा को दउथिले ताहा तांको बहुत ଭଲ ଲାଗୁଥିଲା। So all these about part 1 and part 2 ତମେ ମାନେ ରିକଲ୍ କରି ପକେଇଲ। ଏବେ ଆମେ ଯିବା କୋଉଠିକୁ? ଆମେ ଯିବା ଏବେ part 3 କୁ। ଲାଷ୍ଟ ପାର୍ଟ ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା କଣ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଘଟିଲା। So first we will read the chapter. Okay, when I decided to go abroad for further studies, I was sure my grandmother would be upset. I would be away for 5 years, and at her age one could never tell. But my grandmother could. She was not even sentimental. She came to see me off at the railway station, but did not talk or show any emotion. Her lips moved in prayer. Her mind was lost in prayer. Her fingers were busy telling the beads of her rosary. Silently, she kissed my forehead, and when left, I cherished the most imprint as perhaps the last sign of physical contact between us. So dear students, first of all, we will learn about the unknown words. Sentimental means bhavuka or with emotion. Cherished means kona abhilasita, to love the somebody or something. Okay. Moist means adra, slightly wet, adra kahiba. Imprint means thapo, a mark made by an object on a surface. ଏବେ ଆମେ ଆମର paragraph ଟି को बुझिबा। When I decided to go abroad, ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ decide କଲେ କି ଆମର writers, ଆମର authors ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ decide କଲେ to go to abroad for further studies, I was sure my grandmother would be upset. He was sure that when his grandmother would listen about his going to abroad, she will get upset. Why? Because for grandmother he was most close. नहीं, से तांकर सबुठारु क्लोज किए थिले? हमारा खुशवंत सिंह थिले, राइटर थिले। से जेतेबेले एब्रोड को पले जिबे, से समय रे तांको बेसी अपसेट लागिबो बोली खुशवंत सिंह से पूरा सियोर थिले। सेथि पई से तांको हेजिटेट करूथिले कहिबा पई। He was getting hesitate to tell his grandmother that he was going to abroad for further studies. So I would be away for 5 years, and at her age one could never tell. सेई तांकर जो प्राप्त वयस्क जो से जो बयस रे से थिले तांकु सेई समय रे सेई जिंसटा कहिबाटा कोन तांकु सेटा से हेजिटेट करथले। से तांकु कहिबा पई से कुंठाबोध करुथिले नाही, तांको एज रे एही परी एक बैड न्यूज, सैड न्यूज देबा पई। बट माय ग्रैंडमदर कुड, किंतु तांको ग्रैंडमदर से सबु जानि पाइले। कोन जानि पाइले? तांकर एब्रोड जीवा कथा नाही। एंड शी वाज नॉट इवन सेंटिमेंटल, जानिला परे मध्य से आउ सेंटिमेंटल से इमोशनल हेले नाही। शी केम टू सी मी ऑफ at the railway station. This railway station को आसी थिले, but did not talk or show any emotion. किंतु से समय रे से किछि इमोशन और कोनोसी से कोन इमोशन शो कले नाही, कोनोसी अफेक्शन से देखैले नाही किमा क्रंदन कले नाही। Her lips moved in prayer. Her lips always moving in prayer. से सबले प्रेयर करथिले, and her mind was lost in prayer. से सबुबेले भक्ति रे तांकर माइंड कोन सदा सर्वदा से भक्ति रे ही थिले, एवं तांकर लिप्स हो किबा तांकर भावना हो से सबुबेले कोन हमर प्रार्थना करी चलीथिला। हर फिंगर्स वेर बिजी टेलिंग द बीट्स ऑफ हर रोजरी। हमर हम देखि परिबा ये रे तांकर फिंगर्स रे जो रोजरी बीट्स अछि, जो कंठी माला अछि, सेथिरे से कोन भगवानकर नाम से continuously निरंतर भाबरे नै चलीथिले। Silently she kissed my forehead, and when I left I cherished the moist imprint as perhaps the last sign of physical contact between us. नहीं, silently से कोन कले, से तांको तांकर जो लव अफेक्शन जो अच्छी तांको प्रति सेटा से केमती शो कले से साइलेंटली तांकर फोरहेड रे किस कले एवं सेटा होची सेटा खुशवंत सिंह को पई उटे ब्यूटीफुल कोन तांकर मेमोरी रे ताहा सब दिन पई छाप पकई सेटा रहितला काईकिना सेटा थिला तांकर लास्ट कांटेक्ट between him and his grandmother. So next part, but that was not so. After 5 years, I came back home and was met by her at the station. She did not look a day older. She still had no time for words. And while she clasped me in her arms, I could hear her reciting her prayers. Even on the first day of my arrival, her happiest moments were with her sparrows, whom she fed longer and with frivolous rebukes. In the evening, a change came over her. She did not pray. She collected the women of the neighborhood, got an old drum, and started to sing. For several hours, she thumped the sagging skins of the dilapidated drum and sang of the homecoming of warriors. We had to persuade her to stop, to avoid overstraining. That was the first time since I had known her that she did not pray. So dear students, first learn about our unknown words. Clasp means to hold somebody or something tightly. नहीं जोटे आमे कोन आलिंगन करिबा तो कहा जाए तापरे आसला रिसाइटिंग प्रेयर्स मींस कविता पाठ तापरे आसला तमरो स्पैरोस मींस घर चटिया फ्रिवोलियस मींस तुच्छ इनसिग्निफिकेंट रिब्यूक्स मींस गाली देबा टू स्पीक एंग्रीली थम्प्ड मींस टू बीट हेवीली जोरे कोन बाडेबा को कहा जाए थम्प्ड देन सेगिंग्स टू हैंग और टू बेंड डाउन झुली रहितबा तापरे आसला तमर dilapidated means old and broken, used about buildings or furniture. Then persuade means to make somebody believe something. Overstraining means excessive pressure. So let's understand the chapter. See, but that was not so. He was thinking, what was not so? से भाबुतले जे जेहेतु तांकर प्राप्त वयस्क हे जाइतिला 5 वर्ष is a long period of time. So when he will come from abroad, then whether he will able to see his grandmother or not, that was the confusion thing. But that was not so. After 5 years, I came back home. नहीं तापरे से जो भाबुतले एटा हमर लास्ट कोन फिजिकल कांटेक्ट जो अछि एटा लास्ट देखा साक्षात बोली भाबुतले ताहा wrong प्रमाणित होइतिला केमती ना after 5 years when he came back home after his studies he met by her at the station. Again he met her to meet her grandmother at the station. She did not look a day older. she जेमती थिले सेमती ही देखा जाउथिले नाही डे माने गोटे दिनर भी से ओल्डर देखा जाउ नथिले. She still had no time for words. सेही दिन मध्य जो दिन से छाड़ीबा को आइथिले स्टेशन को से दिन मध्य से किछि कथा वार्ता करनथिले एवं एही दिन जो दिन से जो 5 वर्ष परे से जो फेरी की आसिले अब्रोड रु एही दिन मध्य से किछि कोन he did not listen a word from his grandmother. से गोटे मध्य वर्ड तांकठु सुनिबा को पाइले नाही. She still had no time for words and while she clasped me in her arms. से जेतबे तांको आलिंगन कले सेही समय रे हमर ऑथर्स से कहउछंती he could hear her reciting her prayer. से भलो भाबरे सुनि पारथले से मनरे जो प्रेयर्स गाउथले ताहा से सुनिबा को पाई परथले नाही से सुनिबा को पाउथले कोन ना से एबे भी से जो प्रेयर से मन भितरे कोन प्रेयर सदा माने निरंतर से प्रेयर गाई चली छंती. इवन ऑन द फर्स्ट डे ऑफ माय अराइवल तांकर जो फर्स्ट डे अछि 5 वर्ष लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस परे से जो आसी छंती सेही दिन पाई मध्य तांकर सबुरु कहार ना ग्रैंडमदरंकर सबुठारु हैप्पीएस्ट मोमेंट कोन अटे ना with her sparrows. से जो घर चटिया मान को खाइबा को जो दौथिले ताहा थिला तांकर सबुटारु हैप्पीएस्ट मोमेंट whom she fed longer and with frivolous reviews. नहीं आउ से मान को से दिन से कोन गोटे तुच्छ एमती गाली आनंददायक रिव्यूज माने गाली देबा किंतु से रागरे नहीं से तुच्छ भाबरे सेमती गाली दौथिले आउ बहुत दीर्घ समय धरी फॉर लॉन्गर टाइम माने तांको दीर्घ समय धरी से स्पैरोज माननकु खाइबा को दौथिले सेई दिन ला इन द इवनिंग ए चेंज केम ओवर हर इवनिंग समय संध्या समय से किंतु गोटे चेंजेस देखा पाइले कि ऑथर्स तांको ग्रैंडमदर ठारे गोटे चेंजेस देखा पाइले सी डिड नॉट प्रे दैट डे सी डिड नॉट प्रे से दिन से प्रेयर कले नाही सी कलेक्टेड द वुमन इंस्टेड ऑफ डूइंग प्रेयर से कोन कले सी कलेक्टेड द वुमेन ऑफ द नेबरहुड मीन्स कोन आखपाख अंचल आखपाख पड़ोसी रो जो वुमेन माने तांती सेमानंको से गोटे ठारे ठुलो कले एवं गॉट एन ओल्ड ड्रम से कोन कले गोटे ओल्ड ड्रम से संग्रह कले एवं एंड स्टार्टेड टू थम्ड मीन्स से बीट हेवीली से जोरे ताकू बजेबा को लागिले नहीं ड्रम स्टार्टेड टू बी एमंग से समय से कोन गीत मध्य गाइबा को लागिले फॉर सेवरल आवर्स सी थम्ड द सेगिंग स्किन्स ऑफ द dilapidated ड्रम एंड sang ऑफ द होमकमिंग वॉरियर्स जमती योद्धा माने जमती बहुत युद्ध करी सारला पर जमती आसिले जो आमर अतीत रे होतला जो राजा महाराजा माने युद्ध रे कोन विजय लाभ कला परे जो आसुथिले से समय जमती से माने ड्रम को बीट करथिले से समय कोन होतला से माने गीत गाउथिले नहीं आ तांकु वेलकम करथिले ड्रम बजाउथिले गीत गाउथिले सेही भली ए जो तांकर आमर ऑथर्स व्हेन ही केम बैक आफ्टर सो लॉन्ग 5 years that time also our grandmother used to thumb the dilapidated means माने old broken drum से बजवा को लागिथिले जोटा कि हमर तार स्किल्स गुडा को मध्य कोन से झुली बसला नहीं जोटा कि काहेकि ना सेटा ओल्ड ड्रम थिला एवं से खुशी रे गीत मध्य गाउथिले we had to persuade her to stop से माने ताकू बंद करबा पई से जो गीत गाउथिले आ ड्रम जो बीट करूथिले ताकू प्रवर्ताइले कोन बंद करबा पई बहुत रिक्वेस्ट करले टू अवॉइड ओवर स्ट्रेनिंग जब ओवर से जो प्रेशर दोचंती से जो तांकर वयस्क को देखिले से जो एते परिश्रम रे बीट करचंती फॉर लॉन्गर टाइम दैट सेटा को रोकिबा पई आमे समस्ते हमर ऑथर्स एवं समस्ते तांकर फैमिली रो कोन गले तांकू मना कले माने ताकू स्टॉप करबा पई कहिले टू अवॉइड ओवर स्ट्रेनिंग दैट वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम सिंस आई हैड नोन हर दैट शी डिड नॉट प्रे माने सेटा ऑथर्स फर्स्ट टाइम पई सेटा लक्ष्य कले दैट टाइम ही हैड नॉट sang एनी प्रेयर नहीं सेटा फर्स्ट टाइम से राइटर हमर लक्ष्य करथिले Next, our next part, the next morning she was taken ill. It was a mild fever and the doctor told us that it would go. But my grandmother thought differently. She told us that her end was near. She said that since only a few hours before the close of the last chapter of her life, she had omitted to pray. She was not going to waste any more time talking to us. We protested, but she ignored our protest. She lay peacefully in bed, praying and telling her beads. Even before we could suspect, her lips stopped moving and the rosary fell from her lifeless fingers. She lay peacefully in bed, praying and telling her beads. Even before we could suspect, her lips stopped moving and the rosary fell from her lifeless finger. A peaceful pallor spread on her face and we knew that she was dead. We lifted her off the bed and, as is customary, laid her on the ground and covered her with a red shroud. After a few hours of mourning, we left her alone to make arrangements for the funeral. Let's understand the unknown words omitted. Omitted means छाड़ी देबा नहीं. Protested means विरोध करिबा बा प्रतिवाद करिबा to show that we do not agree with something. ताकू कुआ जाय कोन protested. तापरे आसा तमर ignore अवहेला करिबा, neglected or disregarded. Then failure means फिका पड़ी जिबा नहीं. Customary means according to custom. प्रथा हमर जो चली आसी प्रथा अनुसार. Funeral means a ceremony for burning a dead person. अंतिम हमर करा जाय. Red shroud means शव को आवरण करा जायथवा कपड़ा को कहा जाय. Red color रो. The cloth placed over or around a dead body. Over or around a dead body ताकू कहा जाय shroud. Next, understand the text. The next morning कौन हैला? She was taken ill. तांको हमर grandmother. Why she was taken ill? Because in the day before she used to beat in the evening time. She used to beat the drum. Okay, she used to beat the drum so heavily for the longer time. So she was taken ill. It was mild fever. When doctor checked her, he said that it was a mild fever, and the doctors told us that it would go. सेटा पळे जिवो. माइल्ड फीवर माने सामान्य टिके ज्वर अछि ताहा धीरे धीरे कोन हिजबो ना ठीक हे जिवो. बट माय ग्रैंडमदर थॉट डिफरेंटली. से किंतु जानि पारले से निजर परिस्थिति निजर अनुभूति रु कहिले कोन ना सी टोल्ड अस दैट हर एंड वाज नियर. से कहले जे मोर अंतिम पर्याय एबे आसलानी. सी सेड दैट since only a few hours before the close of the last chapter of her life, she had omitted to pray. She was not going to waste any more time talking to us. से पुनी recall कले जे ए last moment of his life तांगर जो life अछि last moment रे से माने prayer करनांती ताहा एहा से मानन को जणेले तांकर family member को जणेले एवं से टिके भी समय कोन वेस्ट करिवा पई चाहु नथिले. तांको सहित कथा लागे कि वेस्ट करिवा पई चाहु नथिले. से समय रे we means all the family members of author से माने प्रोटेस्ट कले. से माने तांको कहिले तांको मना कले काहे कि ना एटा तांकर कोन एबे से वीक अनुभव करछन्ती तेनु तांको प्रोटेस्ट कले तमे एबे रेस्ट करिवा पई. किंतु बट सी इग्नोर्ड आवर प्रोटेस्ट. से तांकर समस्त प्रोटेस्ट को से इग्नोर कर देले, अनदेखा कर देले. व्हाई? बिकॉज शी वांट टू प्रे. शी वांट टू रिसाइट हर प्रेयर्स. शी ले पीसफुली इन बेड praying and telling her beads. So by ignoring all the protests of her family member, she used to pray and with her beads. Okay, so start कर देले तांकर pray करिवा पई नहीं. Even before we could suspect, her lips stopped moving. से किछि तांकर फैमिली मेंबर्स किछि चिंता करिबा किछि भावना करिबा पूर्वरु तांकर लिप्स stopped moving means से तांकर अंतिम पर्याय को पदार्पण करि साइथिले. एंड द रोजारी लिप्स जेतु से तांकर जीवन से हराई बसथिले कोन हला ना द रोजारी लिप्स जे धरिथिले जो माला धरिथिले ताहा तांकर लाइफलेस फिंगर रु पड़ी गला नहीं. ताहा से तळकु खसी गला. ए पीसफुल पेलर माने तांकर चेहरा रे गुटे सांत्वना जनक से जेतु से तांकर लास्ट समय रे से तांकर हमर खुशवंत सिंह को तांकर राइटर तांकर ग्रैंड चाइल्ड को मध्य से देखिबा को पाई साइथिले एवं से तांको भलो भाबरे वेलकम मध्य करि साइथिले. तेनु तांको एक पीसफुल पेलर तांकर चेहरा रे उटे पीसफुलनेस थिला. आउ तांकर फिका चेहरा कोन फिका होइकरी कोन सबुआडे स्प्रेड कर जातला. जेतेबेले हमर डेड पर्सन मानकर कोन हुए ना चेहरा धीरे धीरे फिका ही बसे नहीं. सो न्यू दैट सी वाज डेड. ताके समस्त जानवा को पाइले जे कोन ना माने तांकर मृत्यु को से पदार्पण करि साइछंती. वी लिफ्टेड हर ऑफ द बेड माने तांकू बेड रु तळकू आनिले एवं कवर्ड कले with red shroud माने गुटे चादर रेड चादर कलर कौन थिला ना रेड कलर थिला जो आमर सब मान को जहा को जो चादर आमे कौन करथौ जो घोड़ थाऊ ताकू कहा जाए श्राउड हेले से चादर को से माने से ढांकी देले कवर कर देले आफ्टर ए फ्यू आवर्स ऑफ मॉर्निंग we left her alone to make arrangements of her funeral तापरे से माने तांकर सब संस्कार करबा पई समस्ते से जो funeral ceremony पई लागि पड़िले next last part in the evening we went to her room with a crude stretcher to take her to be cremated the sun was setting and had lit her room and veranda with blaze of golden light. We stopped halfway in the courtyard, all over the veranda and in her room, right up to where she lay dead and stiff wrapped in the red shroud. Thousands of sparrows sat scattered on the floor. There was no chirping. We felt sorry for the birds and my mother fetched some bread for them. She broke it into little crumbs. She broke it into little crumbs the way my grandmother used to and threw it to them. The sparrows took no notice of the bread. When we carried my grandmother's corpse off, they flew away quietly. Next morning, the sweeper swept the breadcrumbs into the dustbin. So, dear students, first understand the unknown words. That is, crude means simple, basic means raw material. माने अदड़ा खबड़ा जो आमर थाए ताकू को आजे crude means and stretcher means here you can see the picture of stretcher. This one जो आमर जो थी आमर सब को रखा जायछि ताकू आमे स्ट्रेचर कहिबा तापरे आसला तमर कोन cremated means to burn the body of a dead person as part of the funeral service आमे जो शवदाह करा जाय ताकू आ जाय cremated stiff means what firm and difficult to move or bend माने stiff ताकू को आ जाय माने एमति दृढ़ भाबरे ताकू रखिबा को आ जाय stiff wrapped means cover kariba to be something such as paper or cloth around cover kariba ko kuha jaye amara wrap kariba ko kuha jaye an object or part of the body. Chirping means to make short high sound amar jo sound jo chढ़े माने sound करती ताकू कुहा जाय chirping. Next corpse off माने सब नहीं swept means झाड़ू करबा को कुहा जाय हमरो swept. Let's understand the text. In the evening we went to her room. Evening समय रे आमे तांकर रूम को गलु के हमरो room with a crude stretcher to take her to be cremated. तांकर जेतेबे अंतिम से जेतेबे मृत्युवरण कले तांको सब संस्कार करबा पई समस्त पुणी तांको रूम को गले कोन समस्त तो अरेंजमेंट करि साइथिले फ्यूनरल पई तापरे तांकर सब संस्कार पई से माने स्ट्रेचर नै करी गले एवं एही समय रे से कोन होतला ना द सन वाज सेटिंग एंड सूर्यास्त समय थिला एंड तांकर रूम ता तांकर जो रूम एवं बारंडा थिला ताहा गोल्डन लाइट माने गोल्डन लाइट जेतेबे सूर्यास्त समय आसिले सेतेबे जो गोल्डन लाइट हमर प्रकाश तांकर रूम भीतर को पूरा गोल्डन लाइट रे प्रकाशित करि दउथिला. वी स्टॉप्ड हाफवे मीन्स से माने जेतेबे से सब को कोन सबदाह करिवा पय नै जाउथिले सेही समय रे से माने हाफवे तांकर अधारे कोन से माने अटकी गले काहे कि इन द कटियार रे काहे कि ना ऑल ओवर द बरंडा एंड इन हर रूम right up to where she lay dead जोठी पर्यंत तांको रखाइतला सेही पर्यंत कोन से माने देखिले स्पैरोज जहा को से खाइबा को दउथिले नै grandmother used to give them food so all the sparrows sat scattered से माने तले कोन बिछे हला भलिया से माने सोरोली दुख से माने मध्ये दुख प्रकाश एथरु जणा पड़े जे दे हैव आल्सो इमोशन हु हैव आवर animals, birds, they also understand the feelings, the emotion of emotion, and they also show their sorrowness with sitting there with no chirping sound. Means amar चढ़े मानकर तांकर करो तांकर आमर तांकर नेचर होची से माने साउंड करिवे किंतु दैट टाइम इन दैट सोरो मोमेंट जे दुख समय जे तांकू सदा सर्वदा खाइबा को दउथला ताहा पुनी बहुत खुशी रे जे खाइबा को दउथिले से कोन से एबे तांकू छाडी के चली जाइछन्ती तेनु टू शो देयर सोरोनेस दे यूज्ड टू sit so quietly with no chirping sound. Nahi, we felt sorry for the birds. एटा कहउछन्ती हमर ऑथर कहउछन्ती हम तांकर फैमिली मेंबर्स तरफरु जे we felt sorry for the birds and my mother fetched some bread for them. तांको मदर तांको मां कोन कले ना से किछि ब्रेड खंड आनी की तांको खाइबा को देले जेतु तांकर ग्रैंडमदर जे सदा सर्वदा तांको दउथिले से एबे नाहंती तेनु से तांको खाइबा को देले. She broke it into little crumbs. Crumbs means से छोट छोट खंड करी तांको खाइबा को देले. But जेमति तांको ग्रैंडमदर तांको दउथिले से समय रे as his grandmother used to give them that bread that same with same manner Khuswant Singh's mother gave them some bread crumbs but the sparrows took no notice. से माने ताको माने नोटिस मध्य कले नाही नहीं से तांको सेटाको अनदेखा कर देले एवं से माने कोन गले when we carried my grandmother's corpse off they flew away quietly. जेतेबेले से माने तांको सबो को नेई की चली गले सेही समय रे से माने मध्य न खाई की से जो तांकर मदर जो आनीथिले देइथिले जो सेटा न खाई की से माने मध्य समस्ते quietly with no chirping sound they also flew away quietly. Right? Next morning the sweeper swept the breadcrumbs into the dustbin. से जो breadcrumbs गला तळे पडथिला ताकू कोन स्वीपर आसीकी पुनी ताकू डस्टबिन रे पके देले नै. Next, now I think you have understood all this chapter very well. We will go to the exercise part. Hope all of you give the right answer. Okay, first question. What happened to grandmother for continuously thumping the dilapidated drum? What will be the right answer? Which option is right? Okay, which school want to give the answer? Raise your hand. What happened to grandmother for continuously? So continuously.
Option D.
Try to read all the options carefully. Grandmother.
Option D.
No, option. Which one is the right answer? Try to give the answer. Padobahal, UGHF. She became happy. Women really appreciated her. Grandmother was taken ill. से जो drum रे से beat कर ले, तापरे तांको कौन होला? पदोबाल, you can give your answer. तुम्हें answer दे पाइबो? तुम्हार sound सुबह जाऊँगी clearly. हाँ, answer दियो. Okay, this one I am giving the right answer. Which one is the right one? This one. Grandmother was taken ill. Means after beating that dilapidated drum, जो drum को से continuously for longer period of time जो beat कर ले, तापरे next day कौन होला? से तांको ज्वर होइतला ना? एटा होची answer. Grandmother was taken ill. एटा होची तुम्हारा right answer. Hope you have understood now. After grandmother's death, she was covered with shroud of death color. को color थिला तांको shroud जो तांको तांकर मृत्यु परे जो ढंका जाइथिला. Yes, एबे सुभा वाला कहो.
ऑप्शन ए बे हर.
Yes. Which one?
Option A.
ऑप्शन ए.
Option A.
A.
Option A.
Very good.
Option A.
Option A, red color.
Option
Nahi?
A.
Very good. Option A is the right one. Red color thila. Next, why did the grandmother lay peaceful in her bed? କାହିଁକି ସେ peacefully ତାଙ୍କର bed ରେ ଶୟନ କରିଥିଲେ କାହିଁକି? ଦେଖ each and every ତମର option
Hello, hello,
ଭଲ
hello.
ଭାବରେ ଦେଖ.
Mic testing.
Pray.
Mic check. Mic check.
Don't do that. Mic ତୁମର ଭଲ ଅଛି ଭଲ ଭାବରେ ଶୁଭା ଯାଉଛି. Answer କୁହ. To pray to God, started telling her beads to have some rest or both A and B. କୋଉ option ଟା ତମର right ହେବ? ସବୁ option କୁ ଭଲ ଭାବରେ ଦେଖ.
Option C, to have some rest.
Peaceful in bed. ନାଇଁ ଭଲ ଭାବରେ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ତମର ଦେଖ ଆମର ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଡମଦର ସେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ବେଡ୍ କୁ ଗଲେ ସେ ତାପରେ ସେ କଣ ଚିନ୍ତା କଲେ ସେ ସେଇ ସମୟରେ ଗଡ୍ କୁ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା କରିବା ପାଇଁ ନାଇଁ ଆଉ ତାଙ୍କର ରୋଜରୀ ବିଟ୍ସ ରେ ସେ ପ୍ରେ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କଲେ ନା ସେଥିପାଇଁ ସେ ବେଡ୍ ରେ ପିସଫୁଲି ତାଙ୍କର ସେ ଗଲେ କାହିଁକି ନା ସେ ରେଷ୍ଟ ତ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହୁଥିଲେ ବଟ୍ ଏଇଥିରେ ମୋଷ୍ଟ ଆପ୍ରୋପ୍ରିଏଟ୍ ୱାନ୍ ଇଜ ଦ to pray to God and started telling her beads. ତାଙ୍କର ରୋଜାରୀ beads ରେ ସେ start କରିଦେଲେ pray କରିବା ପାଇଁ ନାଇଁ ଏଇଟା ହେବ ତମର both A and B ଟା ହେବ ତମର right answer. You have to choose the most appropriate one. Okay, ଯୋଉଟା ତମର ସବୁଠାରୁ ଠିକ ହେବ ସେଇଟା ତମେ choose କରିବ. Next, how were the grandmother's room and veranda lit? Grandmother's room କେମତି lightning କେମତି ହେଇଥିଲା with a torch ମାଧ୍ୟମରେ ହଉ କି lamp ମାଧ୍ୟମରେ ହେଇଥିଲା ନା with a blaze of white light or with a blaze of golden light? Option yes
D.
Option D is the right one. Very good. With a blaze of golden light. Very good. What did the sweeper do with the breadcrumbs left untouched by the sparrows? ଆମର ଶେଷ ସମୟରେ କଣ ହେଇଥିଲା? Which one is the right one? Yes, tell me once again.
Option B. Option B.
Option B.
Option B.
No. Let's read all of the options. ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ କଣ breadcrumbs untouched means what? ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ ଶବକୁ ନେଇ ସାରିଥିଲେ ସେଇ ସମୟରେ କଣ ଆମର sparrows ମାନେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଉଡ଼ିକି ଖେଳିଥିଲେ. Option C. Very good. Option C is the right one. Very good. He threw them in the dustbin. ଆମର sweeper କଣ କଲେ ସେ ସମସ୍ତ bread crumbs ଗୁଡ଼ିକୁ dustbin ରେ ସେ ପକେଇ ଦେଇଥିଲେ ନାଇଁ. Very good. Option C is the right one. Next, how can you say that the grandmother was not even sentimental? ତମେ କେମିତି କହିପାରିବ ସେ sentimental ବିଲକୁଲ ହେଇ ନଥିଲେ କଣ କଣ ତମେ ଦେଖିବାକୁ ପାଇଥିଲ? When she came to leave the narrator at the railway station, she did not talk or show any emotion. Her lips moved in prayer. Her mind was lost in prayer. Next, her fingers were busy telling the beads of a rosary. Or all of these. Which one is the right one? ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ ଛାଡିବାକୁ ଯୋଉ ଆସିଥିଲେ ସେଇ ସମୟରେ ଯୋଉ ଆମେ କହିଲେ ଆମର ଅଥର୍ସ କହିଲେ କଣ ସେ ସେଣ୍ଟିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ବିଲକୁଲ ହୋଇନଥିଲେ ନାଇଁ ହେଲେ ତମେ ଏଇ ଅପସନ ମାନଙ୍କ ମଧ୍ୟରୁ କୋଉଟା ତମକୁ ଆପ୍ରୋପ୍ରିଏଟ ଲାଗୁଛି କୋଉଠୁ ଆମେ ଜାଣିପାରିବା ଯେ ସେ ସେଣ୍ଟିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ବିଲକୁଲ ନଥିଲେ କଣ କଣ ସେ ଦେଖିବାକୁ ପାଇଥିଲେ ଆମର ଅଥର try to give the answer ଭଲ ଭାବରେ ଦେଖ ସମସ୍ତ ଅପସନ ଗୁଡ଼ିକୁ ଚୁଡାଲଗା ଗାର୍ଲସ ହାଇ ସ୍କୁଲ. This one is a very easy chapter. This one is story. You can give the answer easily. Author कौन कौन सब देखिया को पाइले?
Option A. Option A.
C.
Option A.
Option A अटे किंतु एथिरे option A B C समस्त जिंस से लक्ष्य करबा को से लक्ष्य करथिले कोठी हमरो ऑथर थारे नहीं ऑथर कोन कोन सब लक्ष्य करथिले ऑप्शन ए मध्ये हबो ऑप्शन बी मध्ये हबो ऑप्शन सी मध्ये हबो तेनु एठारे हमर आंसर कोटा ठीक अछि ना ऑल ऑफ दिस D1 इज द राइट वन ओके से हमर नरेटर हमर ऑथर कोन लक्ष्य करथिले ना when she came to leave the narrator at the railway station, she did not talk or show any emotion. से कौन सी इमोशन से शो करनथले एटा मध्ये ठीक. her lips moved in prayer, her mind was lost in prayer. एहा मध्ये ठीक अटे.
Option D.
ऑप्शन डी इज द राइट वन. वेरी गुड. आउ से ताकर कौन से प्रेयर से निरंतर भाव में प्रेयर करी चलथिले. आउ तांकर फिंगर्स माने मध्ये से बीट्स रे प्रेयर करूथिले नाही. सो ऑप्शन डी इज द राइट वन. So, number 7, what was the last sign of physical contact between the narrator and his grandmother? Kota last sign ate kota when Khushwant Singh left the village, when the narrator shifted in a new school, or when the grandmother came to see of the narrator and kissed him on the forehead, or all of the above. Kota have a right one?
Option C.
Option C.
Option C.
Option C is the right one. Very good. Next, even on the first day of Khushwant Singh's arrival, what was the happiest moment for the grandmother? तांका पाई happiest moment कोड़ा थला. जो दिनो खुशवंत सिंह आसी थिले सेही दिनो मध्ये तांकर ऑप्शन
C.
ऑप्शन C. Very good. Option C is the right one. Very good. To feed the sparrows. जो दिन खुशवंत सिंह आसी थिले सेही दिन मध्ये तांकर सबुठारु बेस्ट मोमेंट थिला टू फीड द स्पैरोज. लास्ट सॉरी 9 नंबर. व्हाट चेंज केम इन द ग्रैंडमदर्स इवनिंग शेड्यूल when her end came? जेतेबेले तांकर एंड आसी गला सेही समय माने जेतेबेले अंतिम पर्याय आसला सेही समय तांकर कोन तांकर इवनिंग शेड्यूल केमती थिला? को ऑप्शन ता राइट हबो? सी कलेक्टेड द वुमेन ऑफ द नेबरहुड.
ऑप्शन ए.
ऑप्शन ए.
ऑप्शन ए.
वेरी गुड. से कोन कले आखो पाखरे थिबा लेडीज माननकु वुमेन माननकु से कलेक्ट करथिले. वेरी गुड. ऑप्शन ए इज द राइट वन. हाउ डिड द ग्रैंडमदर रिएक्ट टू हर इलनेस? तांकर इलनेस को इलनेस जेतेबेले आसला से केमती रिएक्ट करथिले? सी सेड हर एंड वाज नियर, सी वाज हैप्पी, सी वाज सैड, सी वाज अमेज्ड. कोन हबो राइट आंसर? ट्राई टू गिव द आंसर. से कोन कहिथिले समस्तंकु तांकर परिवार लोकंकु?
ऑप्शन सी.
she was sad.
ऑप्शन सी.
No.
She was sad.
No. She was not sad. से कोन जणैथिले मने टिके मने पकाओ. से तांकर परिवार जनकु कोन जणैले? डॉक्टर सिना कहि देले एटा माइल्ड फीवर, से एटा चली जिवो. बट से कोन कहिथिले? ग्रैंडमदर तांकर परिवार जनकु कोन जणैथिले? हां, ट्राई टू गिव द आंसर.
ऑप्शन डी.
No.
ऑप्शन डी.
Option first. Option A is the right one. She said her end was near. से कौन कहले? मोर अंतिम समय आसलानी कहले नहीं. एटा हला तमरो राइट आंसर. She said her end was near. What did the grandmother do in her final hours? से तांकर शेष समय रे कोन करथिले? कोन करथिले? मने पकाओ. से गीत गाइले, prayed silently and counted the beads of her rosary. She was
ऑप्शन बी.
Option B.
Very good.
ऑप्शन बी.
Option B is the right one. Silently and counted the beads of her rosary. Next, how did the grandmother die? से केमती मृत्यु मरण करथिले? While telling the beads and laying on the bed. कोटा हबो? कोटा ऑप्शन ता ठीक हबो? Very easy one. Try to give the answer. Jairam High School. Which option is the right one?
Option B.
ऑप्शन ए.
Option A. Very good. Option A is the right one. This one, while telling the beads and laying on the bed. How did the sparrows express their sorrow at the death of the author's grandmother? स्पैरो माने केमिति तांकर दुख प्रकाश करिथिले? केमिति करलिथिले? By chirping, by eating food, they came and sat silently in the veranda. None of the above. कोन करथिले? कोटा हबो ठीक?
ऑप्शन सी.
Very good. Option C is the right one. They came and sat silently in the veranda. Very good. Next, what happened when grandmother's corpse was taken away? जेतेबेले तांकर सबकु निया गला से समय रे कोन ग्रैंडमदर्स को निया गला से परे कोन हला? Nothing happened. The author was crying. The dogs were calm. The sparrows flew away silently. এই চারটা অপশন ভিতরু কোউটা appropriate আছে? Option D, very good. The sparrows flew away silently. Sparrows गुड़िक कौन से माने उड़ी गले silently नहीं. Next 15 number. What happened to the scattered breadcrumbs which the sparrows did not eat? जो breadcrumbs जो floor उपरे थिला से गुड़िक कौन हला? Thrown in the dustbin.
Option A.
Option A, very good. Option A is the right one. That is that thrown in the dustbin. Nahi. The portrait of the lady is written in whatever. এটা মু तुमको बटिया बते दे.
Option B.
Option B, very
Option
good.
B.
Autobiographical mode. କାହିଁକି ନା ଏଠାରେ ଖୁଶବନ୍ତ ସିଂ ନିଜ ଲାଇଫ ରୁ ସେୟାର କରିଛନ୍ତି ନାଇଁ ତାଙ୍କର ତାଙ୍କ ଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଡମଦର ଙ୍କ जो रिलेशनशिप थिला ब्यूटीफुल रिलेशनशिप ସେଇଥି ପାଇଁ ସେ ନିଜେ ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି ମଧ୍ୟ ତେଣୁ ଏହାକୁ କୁହାଯିବ କଣ autobiographical mode. Very good. Next, how did the grandmother celebrate Khushwant Singh's return from abroad? Could have a answer?
Option A.
Option A.
Option A is the right
Option A.
one. Very good. Option A is the right one. Thank you, dear students. Hope you understand this chapter very well and always try to make happy your grandparents and also show respect, give time, share your day-to-day life with them and also think about them, care them and support them. Dear students, thank you.